Hello and welcome to the Saturday morning live stream where we talk about all different things tech. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. For all the regulars, I appreciate you guys all coming back. And I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to our channel members. If you didn't know, we do a channel member stream before this. And during today's member stream, we're talking about AI for research. And personally, I've been using Grok lately and have enjoyed it. So I gave some examples of how that's been kind of useful. Now, in today's video, I wanted to talk about some confirmed devices coming from Apple because they messed up. They leaked within code of new beta software. They're blah blah blah. Words are hard. There were identifiers for different devices listed in there, and we'll talk about some of those in a moment. But first, we'll cut to the chat, say hi to some folks, and then we'll get into that story. Starting off, hey Jack Rhett, thank you for being here from Jack's Diner. Nick, good morning. I appreciate you being here. John, good morning. Sunny and rainy Texas. Thank you for being here, John. Stay dry. Bill, I appreciate you being here, man, and always helps keep the stream on course. I got a thumbs down already. Man, already a thumbs down. Barely got started. Channel for fans. Another busy day, it looks like, going on. Thank you for being here. And David, yes, ran to the restroom between live streams. And yeah, do you get bidets in the U.S.? We do. I don't have one, but we do. In some places, not a lot of places, actually. That's a good point, Alan. Not a lot of places. William in Ontario, thank you for being here. Yes, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that Mustafa, we'll go with that. I got your first name wrong. But did Apple leak anything about the HomePod with a screen? And yes, we'll talk about that in a moment. Barry, good evening. Adam, welcome. Larry, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm trying to keep the stream a little tighter now. And oh, Barry, watching in the UK, it's evening. Well, I appreciate it. We have David and Barry from the UK. So let's dive in. Want to talk about, let's go to this right here. So this past week, Apple apparently accidentally leaked some of their devices that are going to be coming out within the code of some of their most recent software. And an article from Mac Rumors, the leak information provided Mac Rumors with concrete evidence of Apple's hardware development across multiple product categories. Here's everything that was confirmed. So starting off, let me go back. Let's try this again here. Let's bring that up. So in the article on Mac Rumors titled Every Apple Secret That Leaked Wednesday, they found code within the different software that links to numerous unannounced products. And here's a whole list of them. We'll talk through each of them and what's expected with them. The first is the updated HomePod Mini, which I did make a video on the HomePod Mini and the Apple TV. This looks like there's not a big change going on with it. According to this article, they did find identifiers for a different chip, and the chip is either going to be the S9, S10, or S11 chip. So basically the chip that you would find in the Apple Watch Series 9, Series 10, or the upcoming Series 11. Currently, they're using an S5 chip in it, and that S5 chip is basically from the Apple Watch Series 5. So from a performance standpoint, there wouldn't be a lot of difference with this chip upgrade. The big thing that changed with the newer chips is that some of the things you can do on an Apple Watch with Siri can be handled locally. So it doesn't need to go to the Apple Watch for everything. So it might open up possibilities of more on-device stuff happening. So not having, so might make it a little more powerful there. It's also expected to get Apple's new Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, their Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip, which they're making in-house now, and possibly an ultra-wideband upgrade chip so that it would identify like when you bring your phone closer and stuff. So I don't know how much a difference that's going to make, but that's coming out. The Apple TV. This is one. The Apple TV is supposed to get a processor upgrade, and according to the article, it will be getting the A17 Pro chip. And now the thing with the A17 Pro chip is it will be able to handle better gaming, for one thing, with which that's one of those things, gaming on the Apple TV. I feel like Apple's gaming lineup is kind of weak. They do have some AAA titles that are available now that you could play on the iPhones. But most of those titles, like here's a little breakdown of them. Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil, some of these games here, none of them are really are games that I'm interested in personally. And they're just not games you really hear about a lot in the gaming world. So the upcoming Apple TV with an A17 Pro chip could handle those same type of games, but that doesn't do much if they're not the games people are playing. Like, I like Call of Duty, and I doubt we're going to see Call of Duty on that. Now, one of the benefits of having that updated chip would be that you would have on-device Apple Intelligence when that finally gets situated, but who knows when we'll see that. You can see in this picture they have a camera on there. I seriously doubt that'll happen. One of the best arguments I've heard against having a camera on the Apple TV is that people place these things in all different places. So some people put them on mounts behind their TV. Some of them put them on entertainment centers, on shelves. A lot of places where a camera wouldn't work out very well. So I wouldn't count on that happening. Now, the HomePod with a screen. This was some concept that was thrown out there. But apparently it is being delayed along with the large language model Siri until like mid-2026. According to Mark Gurman with Bloomberg, who had previously said that the HomePod with the screen would be coming this year, but has recently said it'd be delayed to beginning of next year, is now saying that it will come in mid next year. Now, the thing I thought was interesting with this article is the hub, which is codenamed J490, will run an operating system codenamed Charismatic. Charismatic is different from iOS, macOS, and tvOS. So that should be the rumored Home OS that has been talked about. And apparently it's designed to be used by multiple members of a household. The interface centers on clock faces and widgets for Apple apps, and it could have a Siri virtual interface that gives Siri a more personalized look. Apple is said to be testing a look for Siri that resembles the Mac Finder icon. Now, that right there, the multi-user experience is where a HomePod with a screen can be totally different than having an iPad. I've had some people say that what good is a HomePod with a screen? You could just get an iPad instead. Well, an iPad is not good for multiple people in a house. It's fine if you all want to share the same apps, but if you want to interact with it and have personalized information, an iPad's not good for more than one person. So the idea of having a HomePod that is meant for multiple users, and if it uses the camera to identify who's speaking to it, plus with voice recognition, you can then see your calendar on there. Or ask to play your music, and it's going to be your music. Or respond to a message, or FaceTime someone, and it knows your contacts and stuff. So there's a lot of benefits I see. It's no different than people buying an Echo Show versus a regular Echo. You know, it's easy to say that's just a Fire tablet on with a speaker, but even a Fire tablet is meant for one person really at a time. So, yeah, I really would love to see it. Now, before I get back into the chat, the last thing I wanted to mention is apparently Apple is working on developing a ring-like home security. Let me start that sentence over. Apple is developing a ring light home security camera. Ring light? Yeah. A ring-like home security camera. Now, this camera will feature a battery that could last for several months to a year. In addition, being useful for security, it'll be able to detect people and sense motion for home automation. Now, according to Mark Gurman from Bloomberg, the device has facial recognition and infrared sensors to determine who is in a room. Apple believes users will place cameras throughout the home to help with automations. That could mean turning lights off when someone leaves a room or automatically playing music liked by a particular family member. So yeah, a fancy presence sensor or motion sensor that will cost you $300. Apparently, they're also working on a doorbell, which personally, I would love this. I would love to have a doorbell and cameras within Apple Home. And just a segue, video that I have coming out, and it will be out tomorrow, is reasons why I think Apple Home is better. And one of the big reasons is Apple HomeKit Secure Video. And being able to have my camera recordings just go to my iCloud account and to have everything handled locally. You know, to have nothing from my cameras go to a third-party service. So that right there, to me, has a lot of values. Whatever this cost, I would like to have Apple cameras in my house or an Apple doorbell because I'm already trusting Apple with my information for my computers, phone, and everything else. So just to integrate the smart home deeper into it would be great. But let me know, what do you guys think about that? Would you be interested in getting cameras from Apple? So let us know. But now let's go back to the chat. So that's some of the smart home stuff coming up. I do have some other ones to talk about related to some of their other products, but let me know your guys' thoughts on some of this stuff, and yeah, we'll talk about it. Now, let me find out where I was in the chat. Here we go. And again, Barry, let's go through. Hey, Barry. I said hello earlier. Adam, welcome. Heat warning in Illinois again. Oh, yeah. I don't know what it is, man. It seems like here in LA, it used to be hot all the time. Now it's been cool here, and everywhere else seems to just have ridiculous weather going on. It's crazy. Larry, happy Saturday to you too, man. Thank you for being here. I'm doing good. I have my wife is out of town for a job this weekend. My oldest is in San Diego with a friend. My youngest is going to a water park tomorrow. So Sunday's going to be peaceful. There'll be nobody here. It'll be nice. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Oh, Iyas. Did I get it right that time? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And William, good morning. Thank you for being here. And John, I'm not happy with Grok. I have too much trouble. I ask it to do something like, what is this picture? It tells me I can't do that. Can't do that yet. Yeah, what I was talking about during my member stream was... I think it's a great tool for research and stuff. I haven't played with the visual side of it too much, but one example I talked about was one of our channel members in our channel member Discord asked about her computer and Windows 10 no longer getting updates as of October. So if you do use Windows 10 in October, it'll no longer receive updates. So Microsoft is recommending that you update to Windows 11. Now, she received an email saying that her Toshiba laptop wasn't going to be supported. So I entered in her specs into Grok AI, and it just broke down everything and said, like, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. This processor is not supported. So it was able to pinpoint exactly what the issue is based on those specs, as opposed to having to kind of troubleshoot it yourself. It's in a matter of, a minute, it just gave a complete breakdown of everything. Then Gene, our channel member, asked, like, can you replace the CPU in it and not have to get a new laptop? Well, can you replace the CPU? No, it's soldered on without specialized equipment. No. So basically, it gave a whole breakdown, and we were able to find out that, yeah, you could continue to use your computer after Windows 10 expires. But if you do want to go to Windows 11, it's going to need a new machine. So I don't know. For me, I look at that was like 3 minutes of searching, and it gave me way more information than I would have ever found on my own, because it showed me things I wouldn't even thought to ask for. And I think that's where a lot of value could come in with this AI, is seeing things and learning things you wouldn't even know to ask for. Yeah. Wow. That was hard to get out. Martinez, welcome. Thank you for being here. And thank you to all the new folks that are here today. I appreciate it. It's always good to see new names in the chat. And Alan, one of our channel members, one of our longest running channel members. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. And thank you, John, for welcoming him. Another hot day in MS. Hey, David, welcome. Which one is it? Is that Mississippi? Missouri, right? Did I get that right? I can't. So yes, let's see. Did you see Saturday? Oh, yes. Let's talk about that real quick. Is it only features now available with the Apple 9, 10, and Ultra 2? Yes, I actually was going to mention that. Another thing that's coming for Apple Watch fans, if you've missed your blood oxygen sensor, let's see, want to rephrase that. So something I'm trying is I want to take some of the stuff that I think is of value from this live stream and condense it down into a video, so that people who don't want to watch the whole live stream can get some of these updates. So I'm playing around with that. So bear with me, because some of these introductions of topics, I think this would be a good one to add in. So if you, for those of you who don't know about this, Apple had to remove the blood oxygen sensor from the Apple Watches, starting with the Series 9 and above, because they had a patent issue with a company, I believe, called Massimo. And if you owned a Series 8 or older, you still had the blood oxygen sensor. But when this went into effect, if you had a Series 9, then you lost it. And I believe the Ultra 1, or maybe it was the Ultra 2, you lost it at that point and couldn't use the blood oxygen sensor. Well, Apple has now found a workaround with the blood oxygen sensor. So you can now get the blood oxygen sensor back, or reading back, with the Series 9, Series 10, and Ultra 2. It says the method is slightly less convenient as it shifts processing data and displaying results to the iPhone, but it restores a capability that had been entirely removed since late 2023. The timing works in Apple's favor, because they are going to be announcing their Series 11 and Ultra 3 this fall. So in about a month, we should know about all of those things. Anything prior to the 9, as I was saying, the Apple Watch Series 8, Ultra 1, and earlier owners, they've had the blood oxygen sensor. So if that was something which I know some of the people in my Apple Watch videos were talking about, that they didn't want to give up their older Apple Watch because of since they'd removed the blood oxygen sensor. So it's good Apple got it out in time, so those people who are on the fence will know about it and potentially upgrade and spend more money with Apple. Exactly what they're looking for. But anyways, and if you didn't know, expect, I believe it's September 9th, which is a Tuesday. There is going to be an Apple event where they'll announce new iPhones. And during that, they usually announce new Apple Watches. When it comes to the Series 11, it doesn't look like there's going to be much of an upgrade over the Series 10. The Ultra 3 is supposedly getting a bigger screen. Don't know if that's going to be a change in the physical body of the watch itself, but it sounds like it will get the improved screen that the Series 10 got. So it has a slower refresh rate, so it can actually refresh once every second. And that allows it to show secondhand. It has better off-axis viewing. I don't know how accurate this image is. I haven't seen that, but supposedly the screen will go to the edge more. And who knows, it might be a little bit thinner like the Series 11 was able to do. So we'll have to see about that. But also along those lines, with the Apple Watch, they will have a Series 11 chip in it. And as this article says, no major performance upgrades for the 2025 Apple Watch. And basically the last 2 years haven't been a big performance upgrade. And since this is built on the same architecture as the Series 9 and 10 chips, it's expected to get about the same kind of performance. So if you own a Series 9 or 10, I wouldn't expect, or an Ultra 1 or 2, I wouldn't expect a big performance upgrade. So just something to think about if you're thinking about upgrading. Now, let's go back to the chat. So, the animal. Yes, I did see that. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it up in the segue. I hope they lower the price of Apple TV. I can't afford it. See, and that is one of the things that I think is one of the rumors is possibly a more affordable Apple TV. What I see happening is that they take the current Apple TV 4K and drop the price on that. And then whatever they introduce in the newer one, it could be Apple TV 4K Max, and it has the power to do gaming, Apple Intelligence, and all this other stuff. But I'll take, personally, using my Apple TV 4K now, I don't know what's going to really be added that would make it worth doing any kind of big upgrade. So I can see that, similar to what Amazon does. They have the Fire TV Stick HD that's like $20. You're like, I don't know, HD at this point. I understand if you own an HD TV, that's fine. I'd still throw a 4K more current, Fire TV Stick 4K Max for $15 more, because someday you might own a 4K instead of that. So I can see Apple dropping their existing Apple TV down in price. Let's see. I'd be careful with Pulse OX monitors. I worry about the precision of them in a watch. And that's a big thing that Apple has mentioned, is that this stuff is to show you a trend more so than relying on it for accuracy. Even the blood pressure feature that might be coming out with the Ultra 3. The idea is that it would show you a trend, an elevated blood pressure, but not give you an actual finite reading. Like, Apple's smart about that. Like, wait, things are out of the ordinary. They're not within a certain range, but not giving you, the blood oxygen. I think it gives you a percentage. But when it comes to heart rate and stuff, or the what is it? The EKG, whatever, that it'll tell you like within you're within a certain range, or everything looks fine, but that's about it. I heard that, but don't know if it's true. But if you don't live in the U.S., you have it on all Apple Watches. Yeah, and it sounds like that update to getting the blood oxygen sensor back. You have to go to your phone to see what is happening with it instead of being able to look at it on your watch. So, John, yes, the oxygen monitor is coming back, but you can't see it on the watch, only on the phone, which guess it's better than nothing. Question: has anyone had issues with their smart wings Matter over thread blinds going no response in Apple HomeKit? I have had that happen, and the times I've had it happen, it has been usually when something restarts or acts weird in my house with other devices. I've power cycled them and had it, then everything is fine. Or I've also had it drop down where the power was getting really low. The battery level was getting really low, and then it seemed to be non-responsive. Even though it would work with the remote, it's like the battery, I don't know why, but it just wouldn't play along nice with Matter. So yeah, I've had to go and unplug my smart wings and plug them back in to get them to work again. So I would power cycle it and see if that helps at all, William. But if you have to do it repeatedly, if you have to keep doing it, I'd consider reaching out to Smart Wings and see if they have any kind of response to that. AirTag 2. Yeah, supposedly the AirTag 2 is coming out. I thought with that it's supposed to be a little more precise, I guess. What is the deal with that? AirTag 2 rumors. When to expect. Everything we know so far from July 27th. Apple introduced the AirTags in 2021. From what I saw before, there's no redesign meant to happen with that. Let's see. According to Apple analysis, the AirTag will integrate with the Vision Pro headset as part of a spatial computing ecosystem. That sounds weird, but did not provide specifics on just what that means. It's possible the ultra-wideband chip in the AirTags could be used for relaying positional information to the Vision Pro in some capacity, or there could be some kind of VR item tracking. Interesting. I wonder if they, find a way of using it as a remote or controller in VR. Next generation AirTag will have a much longer tracking range thanks to the inclusion of a second generation ultra-wideband chip. The updated ultra-wideband chip was introduced in the iPhone 15 models, and it has 3 times the range of the original ultra-wideband. See, and that's one thing I would love to see Apple take advantage of, is the ultra-wideband chip for automations. The iPhones like the iPhone 15 and newer, all have an upgraded ultra-wideband chip. You have them in the AirTags. The HomePods have the ultra-wideband chips. And if you've ever used the iPhone and an AirTag, it can guide you within inches of the device. You could do the same thing with a phone to an Apple Watch. Or if you need to find your phone, you can look on the Apple Watch and it points you right to where it's at and gives you a distance away from that. If that could get worked into the smart home, so it triggers automations based on distance, that could be really cool. I'd love to see that you would be able to do it. Thank you, Bill. Just saw the time check in the chat. I think it'd be great to be able to trigger an automation where you sit down in a spot, you save that location as being, watching TV. And then anytime you sit down in that seat, TV turns on, the lights dim down. or whatever. You walk into a room and it knows that you're in the room. Like, forget about separate sensors around the house. To be able to just walk in here with my phone and it just knows to turn the lights on would be great. It's such a great technology that it's just underused at this point. The new ultra wideband chip for the HomePods, the idea is to help with like precision of handing off stuff to your HomePod using handoff and stuff. But I want to see it used for automations instead. That'd be a nice improvement. Any thoughts on how? Okay, that was the Smart Wings. But yeah, William, I definitely try power cycling those and see if that helps out. Only in the house camera for Apple, or can you use it outside? My guess is if Apple is going to make one, it would be for inside the house and then a doorbell for outside the house. Let's see. I'd be interested in getting Apple Home products if they were priced competitively, but I'm not going to pay an Apple tax for them. See, and with some of this stuff, it's hard to say. Like, my big thing against it, that I think with some of it, is I think Amazon and Google kind of messed up the space when it comes to the smart home stuff. They, like, if you look at the Echoes, they're underpowered and underpriced in a lot of cases. Everything relies on the cloud. That's one of the things that I like about Apple Home and just owning a HomePod Mini. You have a HomePod Mini and all processing is done within the house. So it's a $99 speaker, and people compare it to the $59 Echo Dot. And it's like, that's overpriced. Well, it's night and day difference in the sense of when I say lights on, that never leaves my house on that $99 speaker. You say lights on, it's going to a cloud service. It's going to Amazon since your account's connected with whoever, Nanoleaf, let's say, or Philippe or whatever. Those things are connected. It's now talking that way. So Amazon get your request, and the other company gets your request. So now, they just create a log of everything you're doing. So the idea of turning on your lights, everything you do from a smart home standpoint is going to a third party, or it could all be done within your house. Is it worth paying $40 more? So, there's things like that to look at where, like, I get it, like the HomePod and stuff is so overpriced. But I think you get into certain things where you look at that $40 difference and you're like, do I want every single thing I do to my house to go through Amazon first? I'll pay $40 more for a device so that's not the case. But yeah, you get into other things. Like, one of the things I do love, and you got a point, Larry, that you're going to end up with a $300 camera, where instead you could go with something like the Aqara G100, which is a $35 camera, and take advantage of that ecosystem and be able to just keep all your devices within your house and keep all your stuff local. So when it comes to Apple products themselves, buying the camera from them could be dumb. But now going with a HomePod Mini and then going with a $35 Aqara G100 camera, and I'll share with you guys what I mean. Which I bought a couple more of them with my own promo code. But this right here is the Aqara G100 indoor-outdoor camera. And in reality, if you're going to have an Apple home, this is probably the better way to go than going with with an Apple camera. Now with this though too, you can take advantage of the motion sensor that's on this camera and trigger automation. So same idea as what I was sharing with Apple's proposed plan. But instead of costing you $200 from Apple, you could pay $34.99 with this. So I really like this camera. I got one from Makara and I did the video on that, but then I bought 2 more of them. See, purchased 2 times, July 20th. So I put my money where my mouth is on it. And yeah, these are great. I just need to, I'm actually swapping out Ring cameras for these. So if anybody wants to check it out, I did make a video on this. I'll also drop a link in the chat. Now with these links, anything you purchase, or after clicking on these links, any purchase you make within 24 hours, a couple percentage points go back to the channel. So you could click on that, decide you don't want that, and then do all your Christmas shopping just so you get it done super early. And I'd get 2% of all that. So now I can't encourage you to use these links. I can only drop them there for you, and if you choose to use them, that's great. But yeah, can't encourage you. That's against the terms of service. Just to show one on Amazon's homepage. If I create a link just for Amazon, this link here is going to take you to Amazon's homepage, and anything you buy using that link, a couple percentage points go back to the channel, no additional cost to you. So, but yeah, it's something that I hadn't really thought about it that way, talking about Apple Home, that the idea is if you looked at it, that everything you requested and you compared Echo Dot to HomePod Mini, one thing keeps all your requests within your house. Every smart home activity that happens, from your front door unlocking, to your lights coming on, to whatever, your air conditioning coming on. Every one of those things that happens with your smart home stays in your house or it goes to the manufacturer and to Amazon. I think of it that way with all the different things I have going on. Do I really need a third party to know every time I turn on the lights in this office? I'm like, yeah, think about that. So from a strictly smart home standpoint. Now, David, thank you for being here. I appreciate it, man. And, question, Craig, Karma, I am definitely, I don't know if there's another part of that. The interesting thing about the heat is looking at the high and low records. You see them back around 100 years ago, high and low often just a few years apart. You see them back around 100. Sorry, I feel like I'm lost out of the... You see them back around 100 years ago, and then were they just not that much difference between now? I'm sorry. Keith, I paid a premium for 4K cameras. When I view them via Apple, the resolution is reduced to HD. Yeah, I can appreciate what you're saying with that, Keith, and thank you for being here. Yeah, one of the bad things about Apple Home is that it steps on the resolution of things, and that's where... like a good example of that. If I go to the G5 Pro, which is my favorite camera that I've owned, the G5 Pro camera from Akara. The thing I love about this is it is a higher resolution camera. It needs to be powered. It does have continuous power on it. Or required to be plugged in for continuous power. But it connects over 5 gigahertz, so it is very fast response time. Now, when it comes to this camera, it costs you $159. The good thing with this is that you can get that higher resolution out of it within the Akara app. Now, the problem with the $35 G100 is it's a 2K camera, but once you connect it to Apple Home, it drops it down to 1080p. So being a $35 camera, it can do one or the other, but it can't do both. Now, when it comes to the G5 Pro, This one in the Aqara app will show up at its full resolution. So it doesn't get stepped on in the same way. So that's the thing. And William, to your point, that depending on, I think Keith, sorry, depending on the camera, some of the cameras can do both. So it gets stepped on at 1080p within Apple Home, but you might be able to go within the manufacturer's app. Like, for example, Aqara, I could go into their app and see it at 4K. So that's something to think about which one you're getting. Because I know there's some folks that were frustrated that the G100 wouldn't do 2K. But I think about at $35, I'm okay with the 1080p. I don't know who else is competing at 2K really at that and maintaining it. So I don't know. Well, Craig, I'm thinking about upgrading my video cameras. I'm really thinking about the Aqara G100. How's it working for you? I know you have it installed in your backyard. I love it. I think it's been great. I picked up a couple more of them because they have worked out so well. I like it to work within the Home app because, like, right now I just open the Apple Home app and I can see all my cameras right within Apple Home. So here, let's I think I'll just share this real quick. What do I got to do? Let's go here and let's change that to a Home app. Whoop. See, and that, there's the G100 right there. And I found the G100 out of, okay. Come on, G100, don't embarrass me in front of everyone. Let's see. Okay, let's just go G5 Pro real quick. This has been, it figures. It's like I go to do a demo. Every demo, it's like demos are crap. They just will not respond. See right here, you can see all of the times that they've all refreshed. But then, of course, I go to it within this live demo right now, and it doesn't want to pop up. So screw it. I won't do it that way. Let's, actually, I don't have my overhead set up. Live demos. They suck all the time. You see, I just clicked on my G5 Pro camera and it popped right up instantly. I'll close that out and select the backyard and just selected it, and there it is, popped up right there. So yeah, I really like using Apple Home for that. But yeah, all throughout, like all my, my doorbell is the G410. The cameras inside the house are all Aqara cameras. So just because I could keep them all within Apple Home. There's one in my living room that's the G4 camera. But yeah, I like the 100s. I mean, especially compared to something like the Ring stick-up cam. Those cost $50 and they're 1080p. So, Larry, look at Matter devices. That's what I've used to get around Apple tax. That's a big thing too. And that's one of the things, and thank you, David, for the clarification, Mississippi. That's one of the things that in tomorrow's video I mentioned. The thing that really kind of changed the game was Matter devices. It used to be so expensive to do an Apple Home, but since we have Matter devices, it's so much more affordable now. But yeah, it used to be kind of silly to go Apple. John, I got the Third Reality light bulbs. They're shipped from China, but they asked Amazon and got it faster and got it cheaper. I only used one so far with Color Alert. Works good. Good. I'm glad to hear those ones are working out well. And David, Original Ultra 2 still has it if you bought it before the Apple Watch 9 came out. Got it. Oh, and I'm 15 minutes behind. Craig, do you know of any new devices coming out from SwitchBot or Aqara? From Aqara, no. SwitchBot may have a couple things coming up, but I wouldn't be able to say. But if you need to do any kind of cleaning, they might be able to help with that. If you have dirty floors or something, you might have a couple options coming out. Yeah, and that's right. Aqara does have a battery presence sensor that's coming out, so that should be available soon. When it comes to Apple, the only thing that I'm definitely considering is the new Apple TV that is coming out with the rumors that it's going to have a camera. Yeah, I'm really curious to see if that actually happens. In addition, if the actual camera comes out with an iPad-like dashboard. That leads me into, let me talk about a couple other rumors of devices coming out. And that just made me think about one right there that's interesting. Apple is working on a studio display. Well, actually, let me fix this first. Let's fix this. So where is it? Oh, sorry. Let me get the right window open. Show the Safari. There we go. So this is one I thought was interesting. Apple's working on new studio display. The idea is it's a mini LED, so it'd be similar to the MacBook Pros. You'd get better black out of it because they could turn off different zones in the backlighting. But what's really weird about this is there's rumors that it would come with an A19 an Ace, what was it? That there were rumors of a chip upgrade in this. I don't think this article is saying this. Here, let me see if I can find the other one. But there's A17 processor or A18 coming to it. Basically, they're going to be putting one of the top of the line, one of their higher end processors that's capable of handling Apple Intelligence within this monitor. Now, why would Apple do that? Is there a chance that they're going to try to run Apple Intelligence independently on the monitor? It made me wonder. It's like, is the new studio display going to possibly be like a smart home hub in a way, or it can work independently where if your computer's not plugged in, you can still ask for something on it? It just seemed kind of weird that... is there going to be a new dashboard coming out or interface that's going to be used with the new studio display? And that's one of the things with Apple TV. It'd be nice to see like a home dashboard on it, like an Apple, like the Home app incorporated into the Apple TV. But yeah, I thought this was a interesting rumor, though, of a new display coming out that has a high-end phone processor built in, which is kind of crazy to me. David, also check out IKEA smart home devices that are also Matter, so they'll work on Lady A, Apple HomeKit, Google Home, and Home Assistant. IKEA have smart bulbs, switches, sensors, and plugs. Yeah, it is... The IKEA stuff looks appealing outside the U.S. In the U.S., their hub is like ridiculously priced. It is like $105 for their hub. It was something silly that I was thinking about doing it. William would love to see some Apple cameras, a doorbell, and an iPad dashboard. Yeah, I'm curious to see what we'll end up getting from them. John, on our car camera, how far away is it working from in your house? Both of my cameras are mounted on the eaves of the house, so they're not that far away. I do think the G5 Pro with the 5 gigahertz and stuff just seems like that thing connects super quick. The G410 doorbell also uses 5 gigahertz, and that seems to pop on really quick. The standard Wi-Fi, models, they seem like there's a little more lag. Like the G100 and every other Wi-Fi car camera that doesn't use 5 gigahertz just seem like they take a couple seconds longer than than the G5 Pro, which is just usually pops. David, Craig, inside the detection settings in the Aqara app for G100 is a feature that detects fires. I have not looked that one up. That's cool. I gotta check that up. And William, thank you. Let's show Craig's channel some love and hit the like button. Yeah, I got a thumbs down very early on. I usually don't get thumbs down in the first few minutes like I did. So someone came in, was like, boom, get out of here, Craig. Alan, Craig can't tell you to bookmark it. I can. Go ahead and do it, seriously. Yeah, I can't. Amazon's terms are you cannot encourage people to use your links, the affiliate links. You can't ask them to bookmark it, none of that. That's a violation of terms. So that's where I make it clear. I'm not encouraging anybody. I'm only allowed to drop them down. Now, personally, I have my Amazon bookmark go to a creator that I like. So anytime I make a purchase on Amazon, a couple percentage points go back to them. So if there is some creator out there, could be anybody, any channel you watch regularly, something to think about. If you go into one of their videos, you click one of their links, go to the home page after clicking that link, and then create a bookmark. If you look at it, when you click on that bookmark, and if you look in the web address, you'll most likely see a reference to their channel. Like I can go into the bookmark, and if I look within that link, I'll see a reference to the channel. Like mine says Craig's Tech Talk -20 or something with my links. And thank you, John, hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Thank you. And sorry, guys, my daughter was actually talking, but yes, let's show Craig's channel some love and hit the like button. Thank you guys very much. And I think we're getting close to the end. A lot of our record temperatures are 100 years ago, kind of debunks the warming theory. Interesting part is the record highs and lows are at times 5 or 10 years apart. Yeah, and that is it is interesting that it's like, it points out that there's a cycle to some of these things more so than the warming theory stuff. But yeah, it seems like there's a weather shift that's happening. The places that weren't getting hot are getting hotter. Like David in the UK was saying that they've had some serious heat waves, where we've had some cool waves in the summer that we don't normally have. Oh my gosh, I appreciate you being here. Subashish, I'm so sorry. Sub, how you doing, man? I appreciate you. I'm so sorry. I butcher your name, especially when I'm on a live stream. I can't talk, I can't type, and I can't get people's names right. And thank you for watching from India. Is there any update on a HomePod 3? Should I wait or purchase a HomePod 2? Please confirm. The HomePod 3 has had next to no rumors about it. The thing is that with the HomePod 2, and it looks like it would be similar with the HomePod 3, there's no mention, like the HomePod 2, of getting an A-series chip. It's supposed to get a new S-series chip. And unless you get one of the A17 chips, A16 Pro, I think you need an A16 Pro or higher chip to be able to do on-device Apple Intelligence. So that means if you have an S-series chip in it, which they do, it's not going to have on-device Apple Intelligence. So it will need to connect to your phone, which that would be a seamless thing going on. But yeah, there's really no rumors pointing to a new HomePod 3. Everything's pointing towards the HomePod Mini. The last time Apple released a HomePod, the HomePod 2, it was actually in February of 2 years ago now, I think. So this February, it would be 3 years. So there's probably a better chance in spring of getting one. If you wanted to play it safe, I would say wait until after the Apple event on the 9th and see if it's announced during that. Because rumors have pointed towards HomePod Minis being announced either at the Apple event September 9th or possibly in October if they do another event. But with as minimal of an upgrade as it is, it could be it could just be a spec update or a press release. Just saying, yeah, because sometimes they'll just do a press release when there's minimal updates on it. But I kind of feel like the answer now with new Apple devices is wait till September. After September 9th and see what happens. Tough part is that you might make it to October and there's no new updates, but then February they release something. But there's nothing pointing towards a HomePod getting any big updates going on right now. So my big thing, just wait till September 9th at least and see where you're at. And thank you, Alan. I appreciate it, man. And yeah, when I get behind, one of the things I take pride in is I do, only a handful of times I've had to run out of here quickly, but I've always, I stay until I get to that end of the chat. When we had some police activity, we showed them the G5 camera footage and they were impressed with the detail. Very cool. Very cool, Jeff. Yeah, the G5. And that's the thing. If you have a better camera with higher resolution, if it gets compressed down to 1080p, it's still a higher resolution and more pixels being condensed down. Like with Apple, for an example, is like my laptop right here. Apple does whatever resolution by 2880. Now 2880 is the height. Their native resolution that they run it at is 1440p. So if you compare the Apple Studio Display at 1440p or the Apple laptop at 1440p to another 1440p monitor, the clarity isn't there because Apple is doubling up the pixels to achieve their Retina look. So yeah, by default, you're only seeing half the resolution on an Apple laptop than what it's capable of doing. If you did the full resolution of 2880, everything would be so tiny. But you're basically doubling up pixels. And they've done that with their cameras too, where it has a 24 megapixel sensor, but it saves a 20 megabyte image. Like they basically just double the pixels up. And even with their 48 megapixel sensor, I think it's only doing the equivalent to like a 12 megapixel sensor thing because they're like quadrupling up. So a big thing that plays a part in it is all 4K and 2K cameras aren't alike. And like one of the things that was throwing me off with that G100, and I mentioned it to him, it was kind of annoying. I could play the video back fine, but then when I imported it into my timeline to edit it, it was choppy and stuttery. And I couldn't figure out why until I saw that what was messing with it was that it was only doing like 20 frames per second, where my timeline was 30 frames per second. So it had to stretch out the image and split up the frames that it was actually creating stutters in there. And the reason that's important is when you watch a movie, it's 24 frames per second typically. And that's where you get the motion blur and you get a blurriness and a cinematic look. And then when you watch TV, that's at 30 frames per second. Well, when you see that super clear, it looks too real, that tends to be 60 frames per second or 100 frames per second. So it's one of those things that you want more frames per second to help with clarity. You want a bigger sensor that can capture more light to get you 2K resolution on a camera versus a little bitty sensor and that doesn't capture as much light, So not all 2K cameras are made alike. That G5 Pro camera is a nice big lens and sensor, and it does a little higher frame rate than the G100. So even both of those showing up at 1080p in Apple Home, the G5 Pro still looks way better than the 100. So I'm glad to hear your G5 worked out well for you, but I really like that. I don't consider an Apple tax. I consider a higher price for better quality product. Yeah, and that's the thing. It really comes down to the effectiveness of the product too and how well it's made. Like one of the things that drove me insane, my wife once bought a Lenovo laptop because she worked with Lenovo. And she got one of the ones that one of the Lenovo representatives recommended. She paid $1,000 for it. And every time she would click, it's like the cursor would move. And it's like the thing was plastic. It was crappy. It was something that Apple would never make. They would just never make it. And, they're hitting a price point. Apple has a minimum that they just don't cross. Like they're done with plastic laptops. You could find plastic laptops. You could find a $400 plastic PC made by somebody. And that's fine. That's fine. But it doesn't mean you can't compare that plastic to a MacBook Air. You can't compare it. You have to factor in materials, and the minimum standard is different. And it's the same with all different things. You go and you get a cheeseburger from Shake Shack or from Five Guys or some other place, and then you get a McDonald's cheeseburger. You're like, you can't even compare the two. It's like you're not even playing the same game at that point. They're using more meat. They're using the better, there's just more put into that. But they're both cheeseburgers. So why, I don't know. That may be a horrible example. But I just think Apple's their minimum is some companies' best. I don't know. Jack in the Chef, not Jack in the Box. Don't be confused. Welcome, Jack. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And thank you, Alan. I appreciate you welcoming people, especially when it takes me so long to respond. William Craig, I've already installed 2 Aqar G5 cameras. I'd like to know, how do I activate the following feature on that camera so when you goes into frame, it would follow them? What I did, in my video, I use mine within the Aqara app. I use my Aqara G5s within Apple Home app. But if you go into the Aqara app, there is a setting in there that will actually do the outline and identify people. Let's see. G5 Pro. What was that? Settings, device settings. I don't know. Detection settings. Face detection, person detection. Yeah, it's under detection settings. There's like person detection, animal detection. And when you turn those on under the detection settings, it'll actually put a box around them and will track them through the image, if that's what you're talking about. And if you look at my video I did on the G5 Pro, those detection settings actually carry over into the Apple Home app. Like there's one, I'm walking my dogs and there's little boxes around the dogs. That's the animal detection turned on. And then under the person detection, I had that turned on, and it's like a red box around me following, if that's what you're referring to. Car doesn't have a vacuum cleaner yet. They have everything else, it seems. Yeah, they haven't gone that route. That's a good point. William, I just asked ChatGPT how to do what you want to do. It gives about 2 pages of instructions on exactly how to do that, and ask if you wanted to do something more. Yeah, I would check under detection settings if that's what you're referring to. And that's one of the things with, with the Aqara cameras. I have my license plate blacked out, which it's not. I parked differently the other day, so you could kind of see it. But that little box for my license plate, that was actually placed in there in the Aqara app. So it carries over into the Apple Home app. So that person detection or any of those other detection features would just carry right over to what Apple sees. Anyone with an iPhone, look. Hey, Kent, welcome from Trinidad and Tobago. I sure got that wrong. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. And John, yeah, Legos are out of control. They are definitely out of control here. Yeah, I probably shouldn't show the whole set collection. I've had to limit some of my themes because I have a lot of buildings going on right now. I have like the helmet series. I have like cars over here. I am almost out of room to expand the Lego collection at this point because I don't want to mess with the background. I have room for like one more bookshelf, one entertainment cabinet, and then another shelf. But like, yeah, my room, it is maxed. I should just show it just for fun. Let's see. Let's see if I can connect my camera. Let's try this. Overhead camera. Camera B. Let's see if I can pick my phone. Craig's iPhone. I'll give you a little behind the scenes. And let's let it connect. Connect. Are you going to do it? It says it's connected. Disconnect. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's one of my double click to pick a camera source. Oh, why is it not doing it now? I guess my camera doesn't want to connect. I was going to show using the iPhone, but now it doesn't want to do it. Video source. Maybe I just need to open it. It's not showing up, but yeah, I kind of have a ridiculous Lego collection that's happened now. Yeah, I'm not able to. Oh, maybe if I. Nope. Yep, that's me. That's me twice. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to restart my phone for that to work. But yeah, so that's been my hobby or whatever now has been my Lego collection. My wife's like, this office is getting kind of crazy in here. I'm like, honey, all this stuff can be resold. I'm like, what is the resale value on golf tee times? You know, how much can you sell, my daughter plays Fortnite. What's the resale value of Fortnite skins for her characters? Yeah, some of the other things people collect and do. What's the resale value on those? I'm like, my Lego sets, I can go $200, $100, $200, $200, and just name off prices on them. But yeah, that's it's gotten kind of out of control. Anyone with an iPhone, check out the Apple Home Devices app. It gives you information on and catalog of all your devices that work with Apple HomeKit. Also links of where to buy them from. Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard of that one before. That's good. Chance of Apple TV and Apple TV Pro. That would. I'm curious if they. It's almost like they need to do that so that they could create a cheaper version of the. A cheaper version, because right now, they're pricing people out. It used to be $100 to get and to buy an Apple TV. They used to be more affordable, and then they raised the price on them, and they're a little ridiculous now. And welcome, thank you for being here, Aaron. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. William, go to the car app and under view says toggle on display detection box. The camera will then show it. Kello Renz, sorry if I got that wrong. Welcome. Thank you for being here. 1 hour. I'm 10 minutes behind. Not that now, Dave. I was just looking at that. Cool. John, my car presence sensor turns on. Great, but I can't get it to turn off anymore. I reset it and detected it from HomeKit. Still won't work. Do you think it went bad? If it's not sending the code, I mean, I double check to see if there's any firmware updates, but I haven't heard of them going bad, but you never know on them. One of the things, though, definitely check to make sure the app's updated, because sometimes a car will put firmware updates in within app updates. So if the app hasn't been updated recently, there's the possibility that they could have done some firmware thing in there. Have you tried putting the car presence sensor to factory mode before you reinstall it into Apple Home ecosystem? Oh, that's a good one. I had a problem. My car presence sensor, when the plug stopped working, I had to replace the plug. Been okay since. Okay, yeah, and yeah, David had a problem with his plug. that stopped working. So, but if it's triggering still, then it should be working. Now I'm curious why my phone isn't showing up as a camera option. Okay, it doesn't want to show up. Craig and Alan, thank you. Since I installed the Akar G5, it was driving me crazy with notifications due to the fact that I live on a very busy New York City street. Yeah, that I can see that being a pain. So, but it looks like I'm all caught up now. Today's stream was an hour and 10 minutes. Not our longest stream we've had, which is good. I'm glad. But yeah, I think we're good. Hey, Curtis, welcome. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And I will be streaming next week. William, it's kind of funny you say that because I just started my Star Wars Lego collection. My first one's R2-D2. Yeah, the Legos can get a little crazy. I've had to definitely limit my themes now because I just don't have room for everything. I was trying to see if I could get... Yeah, there's my iPhone camera. Let's see if it shows up. Okay, yeah, there's my camera. I'll give you a behind the scenes. So there's the helmet collection and the brickheads up there. There's my shelf of... There's the buildings, some of the buildings going on there, plus the brickheads. And there's the Speed Champions. And then there's my other buildings, which some of these buildings are ridiculous. Like this Ferris wheel. I bought this thing. It was like $140. That's like a $300 set now. You know, so a bunch of buildings over there. Then we got over here, we got the car collection going on over here. And then we got the wall art happening over here. So it's a little crazy. I'm kind of running out of places to put it all at this point. So yeah, and I need more room for buildings. So yep, little crazy. So now I gotta turn that off. Let's get that back over to here. So you got to be selective when it gets dumb like that. But anyways, I am going to get out of here. And thank you. I appreciate it, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And have a great rest of your weekend. Tomorrow's video is going to be on why I think Apple Home is the way to go. Some of the advantages I see with it. And you guys can check it out. Let me know your thoughts on it. I'll see you next weekend. Bye.